Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the Sniper Elite series of games. Sniper Elite 2 in the Ruins of Berlin puts other campaigns of the 360 era to shame. The Zombie Army Trilogy Alternate to History is probably the best zombie shooter ever made. Sniper Elite 3 gave us some gorgeous locations, open levels and a high level of stealth. Sniper Elite 4 has made all this more playable, made the graphics better, the play area bigger, the gameplay less stealthy, and gave us the excellent cooperative survival mode. But there is room for improvement, so here's my 3 ways to make the Sniper Elite franchise better, with 2 little sort of ideas first, then the biggest, most important one last. Okay, so the first thing I do is change the way that the AI guards react when they either discover a dead body, or evidence of sabotage, or they actually see and recognise you as an enemy soldier, or they come under fire, or one of their squad mates goes missing. In other words, when there is clear evidence that their base is under attack or about to come under attack, the AI should be a lot more rigorous in the way it responds. Currently, if something like that happens, as long as you run away and they don't find you, or you kill all the soldiers who've been alerted, you're free to plunder that area, and then when you move on to the next area, the guards will be none the wiser. What I'd like to see is that at first the guards stay put and call to the officer or sergeant and tell them what's happened, and then they decide what to do. It could be to send a couple of guys to investigate, or a whole squad, maybe an armoured car or a tank. In any case though, the sergeant or officer would communicate with the rest of the base and put them all on a heightened state of alert. If the initial investigation turns up blank because you've relocated, they should then call out more search parties, and really importantly, search guard dogs. The dogs would be taken to the area where the incident happened and try to pick up your scent. And if they do, they'll lead the handlers along your path. This will increase your reliance on sniping to take out targets rather than melee or close kills. And it means that hiding in a bush, it obviously won't protect you from a dog. It also means that as soon as you've made a bad mistake and the base is alerted that there is a definite enemy presence, that will transfer across the whole level. And in cases where you're blowing things up or killing lots of soldiers, they'll be calling in reinforcements from outside the level. Points 2 and 3 are kind of related because I'd like to see more levels where you're part of a bigger battle situation and not just going on infiltration missions all the time. I'd like to see more levels like the LRDG mission in Sniper Elite 3, where you had to provide cover to Allied soldiers as they blew up aircraft. I'd also like to see Sniper Elite being set on big battlefields where you're with the infantry providing SMG support and sniper rifle cover, charging bunkers, clearing trenches, that sort of thing. Maybe you're doing it from the flanks, but nonetheless you'll be in a developing situation with lots of friendly AI taking on enemy AI to capture objectives and hold ground in the face of counterattacks. And this nicely leads into my 3rd point. Please, please, please base the levels and stories on real life events. Truth is more interesting than fiction in almost every situation. I've always felt that the weakest part of the Sniper Elite series has been the stories, which is a shame as World War II has some of the most amazing real-life events with tales of heroism and daring do that rival and surpass those of the legends of ancient Greece. You know, you simply don't have to make up stuff like a Russian nerve gas attack on London, or a giant tank in the desert, or a missile drop from a jet bomber that could take out a cruiser with a single hit. The Germans and the Japanese had many weird and wonderful projects, but also lots of solid targets that would make a much better and immersive story. Basing the levels on real life events would also allow for a better mix of infiltration and battle missions. I'm pretty sure that every level in Sniper Elite 4 involved infiltrating an area rather than just a straight up battle, where instead you could be providing long-range sniper support to advancing forces, or you could be in the thick of the action, throwing grenades and using your SMG with the infantry. Think about how fun it was on the Sniper Elite 2 level, where you had to defend the rocket scientist as he tried to get to a self-building, or the first level of Sniper Elite 3, where you're right in the middle of the battle for Tobruk. Now, Imagine you're doing that where all the levels are based on real life events. So, here's some examples I'd maybe include as stories or levels, and I've put the relevant Wikipedia links in the description below so you can read how amazing these battles were. Let's start off with defending the British retreat at Dunkirk. It's 1940. You're part of the British expeditionary force that has come face to face with the mighty German blitzkrieg. Outnumbered and out-equipped, you've got to make a fighting retreat to the beaches of Dunkirk to protect all those soldiers. As it turned out, 330,000 Allied soldiers were evacuated across the English Channel, and if they hadn't been, it would have definitely been the end of the war. Now, Operation Chariot. I'm very passionate about this one. March 1942. The war is not going well for the British. They're terrified that the German battleships are going to break out into the North Atlantic and wreak havoc on shipping, even more havoc than the submarines have been doing. So what was the plan? This is something that actually happened. Look it up, it's amazing. The Royal Navy and the commandos took an old destroyer across to France to ram it into the dry dock gates at Saint-Nazaire to prevent this place being used by the Germans as a repair place for the German battleships. You look at the pictures. They took a destroyer, rammed it into these huge gates. The destroyer was stuck on top of these gates, I think for about 4 hours while they were waiting for it to blow up. So this thing's there, the commandos were fighting their way off, trying to get out of there, trying to escape. Hundreds of people were killed. And then finally the Campbelltown blew up, took out the gates, and it prevented the Germans from using Saint-Nazaire as a repair port for their big battleships, and it prevented like the Tirpitz from coming out. Amazing, amazing story. Operation Chastis, May 1943, commonly known as the Dam Buster raids. You could be dropped in as a resistance fighter or a commando, and you could be disabling the searchlights and gun emplacements on the dams as the Dam Busters, as the big bombers are coming in. Operation Dead Stick 1944, June, defending the Pegasus Bridge. The Oxen Bucks were dropped on the night of D-Day, or the night before D-Day, in order to secure Pegasus Bridge, to keep it open so the forces from the Sword Beach would have somewhere to go. And as paratroopers who landed in gliders, they had to take on German heavy forces and armoured vehicles, and they did it. That would have been an amazing battle to take part of in a Sniper Elite game. Operation Market Garden, defending the bridge at Arnhem with the British paratroopers there, ultimately unsuccessfully. They landed there hoping to keep the bridge open, not knowing that there was a whole German Panzer division waiting for them. November 44, you could be parachuted in to guide the bombers in that actually destroyed the Tirpitz, that big German battleship that was hiding in the fjords in Norway. How about taking part in the Battle of Bulge? How about being an American sniper in the town of Bastogne as the Nazis were trying to counterattack, split the Allied armies to force an earlier end to the war? How about this? You could move out to the Far East. You could be fighting in Burma with the Chindits against the Japanese. You could be island hopping with the US Army and Marines towards the Japanese mainland. You could be fighting with General MacArthur in the retaking of the Philippines. And even you could be dropped in to sabotage kamikaze bases before they could strike at the Allied fleets in the Pacific. Maybe some of these missions wouldn't be taken on by Carl Fairbairn, but could include characters from other armies and nationalities. Imagine playing a mission as the French Resistance or a Polish Free Army soldier, a Russian sniper, a British commando, and maybe even from the German or Japanese sides. How would you feel about playing as a German paratrooper sniper, say in the Battle of Crete in 1941? A really important aspect of these more realistic missions is that in some it should not be possible to survive. They're one-way missions where you end up simply being overwhelmed by the enemy numbers and either killed or captured. But that doesn't mean you've lost. That's just the way it has to be. Again, imagine it's the retreat at Dunkirk and you volunteered to stay behind and defend one of the roads while the soldiers are being evacuated by sea. As the rest of your squad are eliminated one by superior numbers and you're running out of ammo, you see 3 German tanks start trundling towards you. What do? Turn and run, but they're not safely away from the breach. Maybe surrender. Or do you pick up a gun from a falling comrade and fight to the death? So, they're my 3 main points for making the Sniper Elite series better. Make the AI respond more realistically and rigorously to definite attacks. Have missions where you're part of a larger engagement, a larger battle, involving friendly AI as well. And base those missions and levels and the story on true life events from World War II. So there we go, Sniper Elite, a great game series, with Sniper Elite 4 being the current amazing instalment. But hopefully someone at Rebellion will watch my video, take some of these points on board, and make the franchise even better. Anyway, that's enough from me. Please put your ideas, your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.